to the racks every week. Keep craving that rush that you get when you flip to the next page. Life is better when you're living between Wednesdays. Yes, say, got a massive back.
What's up, folks? I'm your host, Konrad, on Wednesday Night Reviews, and I'm joined today by Dan Price, and we're going to talk about their new book, Bigfoot Knows Karate, #2 on Kickstarter now. Dan, thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey, thank you so much, Konrad, for having me on tonight. Really do appreciate it.
Absolutely happy to have you, Dan.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so first easy question, as always, for the folks out there in YouTube land who might not know your name, might not know your face or what
Sure.
your comic is, who is Dan Price?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Dan Price. I am a comic book creator from Austin, Texas. I have been doing indie comics since about 2007. Did my first project, Latex Avenger. It was a superhero satire. He has a sidekick, Spermicidal Foam Lad, and together they repel crime 99.9% of the time. I was trying to see if I could get you to do a spit take on that one, but I apparently not. So.
Close.
Right on. I did that for several issues, writing and drawing. Then I brought in an artist, Bon Adami, who we worked together on that for about 7 or 8 issues. Nice. And then we co-created a project, Masters of the Obvious, for Hound Comics. It was the sci-fi space parody featuring characters such as Dr. Biclops. He has 2 eyes. The Visible Woman, you can't miss her. LeBron the Snapping Turtle, don't make him snappy, you wouldn't like him when he snaps. And they flew around in a battle toaster called the USS Screensaver, having pop culture adventures throughout the galaxy. I did that for it was a web comic. We did that for about a year, and then it was collected into an edition. And then after that, it was I did a project for the Stan Lee Foundation and POW Entertainment called Excelsius: The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley. And it was a weekly web comic that came out, and it was presupposed Stan Lee as a little kid dealing with the neighborhood bully, having to get creative only as Stan Lee could, and vanquishing Galakowitz and his sidekick Harold, who wore the silver shirt and carried a skateboard around with him. So, had a lot of fun with that, but took a step back from comics after that project. Some things happened, good stuff and bad. I got married, had kids, I had stepkids, was raising some kids for a while. That was the good stuff. Fortunately, Bond passed away. That was a real shocker and a real nightmare for a long time. It took until about 2018 to kind of start dipping my toes back in the water, doing some interiors for Drew Edwards' Halloween Man, nice. Doing covers for Guano Guy and Mr. Marvelous Man, stuff like that. And then, covers for Halloween Man, that kind of thing. So it was fun. And then that kind of pulled me back into doing comics. During the pandemic, I was pretty bored, and my wife said to me, why don't you do a comic book? So get back at it. The kids are like 17, 21, whatever. So by this point, Bigfoot Knows Karate was born. So well, it was born around 2018. This version of the concept, originally it was I don't know, I'm not supposed to be talking about myself, so I won't get into that too much right now. But that's me. I'm the creator, co-writer, and artist on that project, and then it's about to start going. It's going to the printer. Well, I went to the printer today, actually. We just got done doing a different project. Halloween Man meets Latex Avenger. Drew Edwards and I did a crossover campaign here recently, and so that did really well. And we're going to the printer. We went to the printers today with that, and so that's exciting. It was neat to dust off the old character and have him, have maybe his final send off. We'll see. Yeah, so now it's Bigfoot Knows Karate Part 2. So it's they're keeping me busy. Konrad. So
absolutely. Anyway. Well, Dan, that is a hell of an intro. I love it. So we've got, you said it was 2008, so that's 3 there, 12. You've got like 15 years worth of comic creation experience between writing and drawing, multiple projects you've worked on. And now most recently, obviously the Kickstarter is going live fairly shortly for #2 of Bigfoot Knows Karate. So much to touch on there. I guess a great question that it's fairly obvious, but it's a good question to ask is what got you into comics? Clearly, like from stuff behind you, from what you've clearly explained, you're entrenched. What about comics is it that ticks your brain the right way?
Well, what got me into comics was like the old Christopher Reeves Superman movie. I was a little kid when that was really, I don't know, I was a little kid. We had it on VHS, loved it. You Flash Gordon, the movie, that was another one that really grabbed me. And then there was another movie from Disney called Condor Man. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a story of a comic book writer who who writes a book called Condor Man, and he'll only put in the comic what he can do in real life. And he ends up getting wrapped up into this. So he's got wings, and he flies with the wings like this, like off the Eiffel Tower and stuff. And he gets caught in this whole espionage thing with the KGB and all this stuff. And he's got a boat that turns into a car that turns into a boat, and is rad. Those three things when I was really young. And then my friend Carlos took me when I was 8 years old, took me to we rode our bikes to the local convenience store, and I bought comics for the first time, and
Nice.
pretty much into them, ever since, with some lulls here and there. But really creating comics, that happened when I was about 16. When Image Comics popped in 1992, that was a huge deal for me because I liked comics, I liked drawing and all of that, and I probably wanted to draw Batman or Spider-Man when I was a little kid. But when you got to do your own thing, your way, God, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like that's awesome. Yeah. And so I am I was worked for a little studio out when I was in high school. They were making their comics in 93, 94.
Oh.
And I did things like, erasures here, fill in blacks there, learn to color, stuff like that, but never really got to do too much. They had when I was a freshman in college, they offered me my own book, and about 6 months later, the studio closed. So that was, I know. So that was a real bummer. I never got to see that come to fruition. I had a huge chip on my shoulder by that point, and didn't make my own first comic until I was 30. And just got hooked, like addicted like a drug. All you need is a hug and you can be loved. I mean, it was like, that's what it felt like. It was incredible. The just making something and seeing it from beginning to end, and having, that was amazing. So that's what got me going on all this stuff.
That is so cool. I'm glad you got to have that experience so early on in your life. And absolutely, like, that is, from everyone I've talked to so far, I think every single person I've ever interviewed or even just in passing talked to, that is like the most professional comics work at an early age I think I've seen. Because a lot of people, right, they go, screw it, I'm going to go make a comic, I'm X years old, I want to go do it, or they're really young and they're just like, screw it, I've got my iPad, I can go and do my comic.
Right.
That's super cool. So good for you, Dan, to be able to have that.
It was cool, but like, a lot had changed by the time I went from, 17 to 30. It was like, I don't know, I was drawing with a paper and pen at that point, still, but, coloring in Photoshop. And I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. And, ended up like lettering at 11 by 17. So when it shrunk down, all the words were just little blurbs, and did it in Photoshop of all stupid things because I, just whatever.
It's what you had.
By the time, and by the time I, did the second issue, I was using Illustrator and all of that stuff. Now I do all my work in Adobe Illustrator. I draw in Illustrator, I color in Illustrator. I do color corrections in Photoshop, and sometimes I have to layer in effects and things like that. Take it back to Illustrator for lettering, and then compile it in InDesign. So I draw on my laptop. I draw I don't use a stylus. I draw with my fingertip, and I use a mouse, and that's how I draw. And people think I'm crazy, but it's just the most comfortable way for me to work. So,
I mean, you know what? If that works for you, go for it. I've talked with two other artists now that they did that. They started with literally one of them would take their pencil on their laptop's trackpad and or not their pencil, their finger, and do it. Another one was basically on an iPad, a small one, drawing with their finger. So whatever works, right?
Oh yeah, no. When I first started doing Instagram lives, that threw people off. Like, I was going out of style. Like, they're like, what are you doing? Now people are used to me doing it, but it's when I first started doing that about a year and a half ago, that was something, that threw some folks off for sure.
So still to this day, do you draw that way, or have you got?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
No. Oh no. That's how I draw. I mean, I'm a creative director with, in my day job, I've been working as a graphic designer for like 20 years. You know what I mean? And
okay.
you get real comfortable with the tools you have. And I love my touchscreen computer. And and it's a laptop. I mean, I'm not, it's just what I'm comfortable using, I love it. Absolutely. It's just I go sit outside and draw away in the mornings every morning, and it's cold when it's cold out, and and because it's way too hot in the afternoons, and you know what I'm saying. So just do the best you can.
Yeah.
Where are you out of, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, I'm located in basically the Toronto area in Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
How to explain it in relation? I'm far more north than you are.
Oh yes, absolutely. So I was going to say you don't deal with the heat like we're dealing with.
No, God, no. Like our summers, I'm sure you would still be wearing probably pants and a shirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, no, but the heat just so it sucks. But this workflow just works for me, and it's where I'm comfortable.
Hey,
so
if it works, it works. Don't
I
break
love it,
right?
No.
Then you know what? Yeah, so we've talked about sort of how you do what you do and who you are. The important part for the folks out there at home that we want them to see, your comic. So tell us about, I guess, Bigfoot Knows Karate, and then let us know about what you can about Bigfoot Knows Karate 2, which is coming to Kickstarter fairly soon.
So, Bigfoot Knows Karate is the story of a gentle yet deadly cryptid warrior who lives in a world where anyone can be the hunter and anyone can be the prey at any given time. I liken it to Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a splash of Lost thrown in for good measure. Just a good gnarly twist in there, Like I said, I'm the co-writer. I work with Casey Allen, who is, my co-writer and editor, and just the heart of the Ghostbusters, man. I mean, he's just a good guy. But I do the artwork. And the thing about the book is it's in the first issue we sold it like it was a smash 'em up. It was just gonna be a big fight. That's how we presented the project. And he goes to battle with Kung Fu Thulu, which is our martial arts fighting Cthulhu, and it was it was fun. It was, a good story, but then we turned it all on its ear at the end, and just put in a big old twist that when people read it, they were like, holy shit, what are you, pardon my language, sorry, but, okay, cool. They were like, holy shit, what the hell are y'all thinking? In a good way. They thought it was great, but, we really wanted to tell a different story for Bigfoot. It's a psychological thriller, action adventure, and really tried to bring something very different to the table. Didn't want to do the typical, martial arts film, and with the revenge plot. Because how do you do a revenge plot with a Bigfoot? If you're the only one of your kind and you're the only one, you have no possessions, nobody even realizes you exist. There's nothing to get revenge on.
Exactly.
So you have to build to something like that, and you have to start somewhere. And, so the first issue really kind of set the tone of what we were trying to do. I was, really tried to show a different kind of artwork, much more like brushy, grungy, organic, kinetic. Those are like the key words I was thinking about when I was developing the art style for this, because I tried to take everything I do and give it a different style based on the book that we're going for. So just really try to feed the artwork to the story. And it, it's just been it's been a cool project because the characters, they're different, they're unique. I mean, our Bigfoot is very intelligent. He's very, like if you were but his psyche's rather damaged, because if you were the only one of your kind and you were the only one that, what would that do to you? And he's very compassionate. He's lonely. These are, so there's a scene at the first issue where he sees this rabbit, and you think that he's going to kill the rabbit, but what he's actually doing is protecting it from a wolf. And he has this moment with the rabbit where they're like, he's like, when it's you can't be seen, or can you? Did you? And this rabbit's looking him dead in the eye, and they have this moment, and then all of a sudden he gets shot. by hunters, and they are not hunting him. They're hunting the rabbit. They can't see Bigfoot. Because if nobody's ever seen Bigfoot, then who's to say you can see Bigfoot?
Yeah.
And so we play with that, and where if you can't see him, where is he, and where would he go, and all of this stuff. So we play with that, and unfortunately, the hunters, by trying to hurt that sweet bunny that he had this connection with, unfortunately, it did not work out well for them. So,
fair.
But that kind of gives you the idea of what we were. It starts small, and by the time the first issue's done, we've gone wide and cinematic. The story's kind of blown up by that point, and issue 2, Born Under a Bad Sign, kicks off on Kickstarter October 12th, 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's going, and we pick up right where we left off. So if you do like, two-fisted, two-footed fury, I suggest Bigfoot Knows Karate. Squatch on, squatch off, man. So yeah.
That is awesome. I love the approach to storytelling, because you're right. Like all the classic kung fu movies, any sort of martial arts film that existed from 1970 to 2000, it's basically always the same thing. Dude knows or learns martial arts, master dies, go after revenge. And with Bigfoot, he's here. I also think it's fascinating taking the approach to storytelling of it being small in a tight little story, him and a rabbit, and then have it expand out and be able to develop characters that way, because it allows people to enter your world and get to learn everything. What I also find cool, so for the folks out there, you can go on to Kickstarter and look up the first campaign. The page is still there. Obviously, it's completed, but it's still there. And what I liked about the art a lot was your art, I should say. It felt like Samurai Jack. It had sort of a boxy, I don't want to say simplistic, but a very direct art style. Right? Like, you're not going for super fluffy amounts of detail. It's just, what do you need to communicate your thought and get it on the page? And there's a real power to that, because it makes things pop. It makes things easy to understand. And when you do that, especially in like an action book, if something can be quick to understand to the eye, you can just get caught in it and just page by page read it. So kudos just on the art style as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I hear the Samurai Jack comparison quite a bit. I'm not really exposed to it too much, but man, I'll take that as a compliment, because what I see of it is incredible. I remember watching about 20 minutes of it with my nephew when he was about 5 years old. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And he's now like 26 and works in the gaming industry, for and doing, he worked for, he's been in the business for a while, but he's a great kid. But but that's the only Samurai Jack time I really ever had. So I've told myself, when we get through this 5-issue arc, I will sit down and watch Samurai Jack. Just because I've received so many people say that to me. Hell, I did a TikTok one time, and this guy goes, "Oh, this is bullshit, man. I know Samurai Jack when I see it."
That's hilarious.
Oh my God, it cracked me up so hard, man. Hey, look, dude, Cat Williams said you got to have haters, right? So, so I thought that was great, and just put that as a feather in my cap and moved on. So, yeah.
Oh, big time. As a big fan of Samurai Jack, nothing but love for Bigfoot Knows Karate so far, because it's cool. Like, it's definitely your own style, but there's something about it that speaks back to that series. Gotta love it. When it comes to getting the book, for people that, when it goes live, and people can get it at 7:00 Central Time on the 12th.
On the 12th,
12th of
we're going to be doing an Instagram live stream that night to launch the book. So myself and Casey Allen, as well as Christopher Michael from Crit, he's launching the book at the same time. So we're gonna go ahead and do a live launch together. He and I are good friends, and we're gonna just have a good time, make it a bit of a party, invite people into the thing. I know you're on Instagram, so I hope you come and join us that night and come into the live, talk about your show, and just gab with us for a few minutes, and just gab. I can't believe I said that. Let's
Chit-chat,
we'll talk. It'll be
gab.
100%. we'll chop it up, you know, so that's a better way to put it. And so yeah, it's gonna be a good time. You know, we did one for the last Kickstarter as well. We did a live launch, and you know, it worked out great. We because we were asking for what, about $1,000 for the goal, and we did the launch and we raised that in 7 minutes. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Holy
and
shit! Good for you! Oh my god!
Thanks. So, you know, I don't think we'll do it as fast this time because we're asking for 1,500. You know, I've got an extra cover artist this time around, but you know, if we can, you know, knock it out, you know, as I told them all last time we did this too, I said, hey, as soon as we fund, I start drinking, so y'all can watch me slur my words by about 3 hours in. So not much of a drinker, so it'll be fun for y'all who are watching it that night. So anyway, yeah, I mean, so I'm looking forward to the launch. I really am. It feels like it's been a long time coming, so it's gonna be great.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's so cool. It's an interesting idea to do. I'm so glad you were able to fund the first one that fast. I mean, you're only asking for 500 more, so what, 15, 20 minutes maybe? You probably get it.
That'd be great. I hope it's from your lips to God's ears, man. So, you know, yeah, we asked for, you know, we raised the grand. We ended up raising $3,000 over 2.5 hours. And then overall we did like 7,300 with 212 backers. So I was really, really proud of that, and, you know, humbled. I mean, frankly, because I mean, you know, that all these people were willing to put their money into something that they've never seen before, and, you know, gave it a good shot. The Instagram community was amazing. I mean, they just treated us so good. The team, you know, behind the book, Casey, and our cover artist Matt Skillern and Adam Caswell were amazing. And, you know, and we got some cool covers coming up for the next issue too, including a wraparound cover from Adam Caswell, which the first one, can I show you it real quick? And I
please, yeah,
pull it off the wall, because this was the cover that Adam did right here.
Nice.
And this was a piece of fan art, actually. He mailed this to me to my home and said, I just want to send you this. I really love what you're working on, and would you please, you know, I mean, thank you. And I said, I can't just accept this, man. This is crazy. And so I paid him for it, and we ran this as a variant cover on our deluxe edition. So nice. That was cool. And then here, I'm taking down my entire wall for you.
Sure.
And then this was the one that Matthew Skillern did right here. So
that's nice.
Yeah, they're just both amazing pieces, and I absolutely love them. I'm just going to put them right here right now so I don't have to start hanging things up while I'm talking to you. But now I have an empty wall. So anyway, but yeah, they were gorgeous. And then Adam's coming back to do another cover this time, doing a wraparound this time. And that one, the one that he did over here, ended up winning the Comics Wellsprings Master of the Comic cover of contest this year. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So he's back for another cover. We got Zip Alegria, a friend of mine for like 10 years in the industry. He's amazing. And then and Jevin Loop. I don't know if you're familiar with Jevin on Instagram, but
not yet.
The kid kills it, man. You know, all three of them are just incredible. So we got some good stuff. And then I just found out Luis Tomas, Draw, Erase, Repeat on Instagram, is sent over some artwork, and we're going to be doing that as like a 25 unit foil for the limit of 25 of them. So we're going to do that as a foil. And so, and then my regular cover. So that really like means we have 5.
You got a lot going on, man.
Oh my God. I just, you know, I mean, it's great. We're going to have a good time with this campaign. And we, like last time we did 4 packs of the books, and I signed the 4 packs, and, you know, so this time we'll do 4 packs again. And now we have the ability to do an 8-pack if we want to, you know, and, you know, do all the covers for both issues. If somebody wants to go down that route, that'll be a tier that they can take advantage of. So,
but you know what, that leads great in my next question. So for the campaign, what are the tiers that people can expect?
Sure. We'll do a digital copy like we did last time, and we'll do a digital catch up for issue 1 and issue 2. You know, then there'll be the regular cover, the regular variant, and those are going to be 33-page stories. And then the deluxe editions. So they'll get those will be 44 pages for those, and that's going to be the 33-page story plus Okay, and so all the extras. Last time we received like 60 pieces of fan art before we went to the campaign. So we put 10 pieces of fan art in the back of the book, as well as had a director's commentary video link. So you hit the QR code. Remember DVDs with the director's commentary? Hit the QR code, and it takes you to a video commentary that goes along with the comic. So it's us going, myself, Casey, Dennis Valencia from Slate Comics, and one of the gentlemen from Spoiler Country joined us for that when it was hosted by Kat, the High Heel Gamer from the Late Night Nerd Show. Oh, wow. And she, and so she hosted it for us. And then the 5 of us talked through the book and just went through and with a, fine-tooth comb. They asked us questions. We answered what we were willing to. And it was a good time for us to spill the beans on things, too. It was really a lot of fun. And so we're doing that again this issue. We're going to do a director's commentary again for issue 2 because that was a big hit. And then we got a special project coming up after issue 2. There'll be a side story that comes out, a Bigfoot Knows Karate prequel. We'll say I'm not going to call it a 0 issue because there's going to be a few of these over time. Okay. And but Adam, the gentleman who did the fan art piece that won the cover contest, is actually going to be doing interiors on that comic. Oh, so so he'll be, Casey and I will be writing that. Adam will be doing the interiors. So we're going to have a few, some preview artwork for that book will be showing up in the deluxe edition, as well as some extra sketches from myself and, just a few things, little bits and pieces. Dennis Valencia is doing a Sin City style Bigfoot piece because he knows I'm a huge Franklin Miller fan. I mean, I'm a huge Sin City fan and he knows it. And so he did that for me. And there'll be a few other pieces that we're going to include in there as well. So should be really, those deluxe editions I'm really proud of for sure. And then so we'll do a 4-pack and we'll do the catch up for the physical catch ups for the issue 1. One thing that was really big last time around was ad space. We if you're a creator, we put ad space in the tiers, and we'll do that again because people bought them up and within 30 minutes they were gone. Oh wow. And so we'll make sure that they get their stuff out. Anyways, we'll do that. And I'll do commissions again. I mean, I'm not really a commission guy. I don't do that stuff normally, but last time I did your choice of Bigfoot Knows Karate or Kung Fu Thulu commissions, I draw digitals. So what I did was I did them full color. They were unique. They were not like a reproduction of a print or anything else that I had done. They were for each person. And they were fully colored, and I had them printed to canvas and had them mailed out to them on canvas. So different than just getting a piece of paper and pencils and that sort of thing, because I draw digital, I wanted to make it unique. And so we did the canvas, the canvas prints. So I'll do that again, featuring characters from the comic. They can get their choice of what they want to do, within the realm of Bigfoot Knows. I'm not going to draw Wonder Woman. Sorry, guys. So it's just I don't got another Deadpool in me. So anyway,
that is absolutely cool. Like I love obviously like digital copies, easy peasy, send a PDF. Yep, cool. Sure. Me myself, physical is where I live, so I appreciate doing a physical copy. But when it comes to like the other perks and rewards, I'm used to seeing you could buy a page out of the book and you can have the original. Mm-hmm. Having it, doing an original commission and having it done in canvas, that's super cool. That's something I've never seen before. The commentary, that is wild, and I think a wicked way to enhance readers' engagement with your book and sort of give them an insight that otherwise they would not get. That's just super cool. Sure.
I've wanted to sorry to interrupt, but I've wanted to do a director's commentary for like 10 years in a comic book. How the hell do you do it? Do you overprint the book, and make it magazine size with annotations all over it, and make the regular comic page with annotations? I thought about that at one point. I'm like, that just seems like a headache, for the reader to have all these bubbles around it and that sort of thing. How do you do this? And I was like, and then, I'm over, we're mid-pandemic and I went to go pick up food, and had to hit the QR code for the menu, which got me thinking, and I'm like, there you go, that's it, that's what we're doing. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, because you can't just put a gigantic 9 foot, 90 character URL into a comic book. Oh, I forgot the percentage sign. It's just a mess. So the QR code seemed like it worked out well. We did it as an unlisted YouTube, and it worked out great.
That's freaking cool. Fascinating. No, one thing I like to ask in my interviews for these, especially with the tiers, is basically about cost. Because a lot of people that have never done a Kickstarter, they're like, how much does it cost? When will I get it? And they get all concerned and rattled, and then they back out of it. For reference, your previous Kickstarter, the regular issue was $3 US. The digital plus version was $4. Or the digital. Let me be very clear.
Yeah,
$3. The digital plus was $4, and then the print edition with your cover was $9, and then they go up from there. Is it going to be similar? Is it going to be a little bit more because you've put more in the book?
I think, I'm not looking at the campaign right in front of me right now. I think I stayed right at the same numbers. What we did for the variants was, because the price point went up on the variants.
Of course, yeah.
They stair stepped. So what I did was, it was $9 for the regular edition, and then I think it was like 12 or 13 for the variant of the regular edition. But you got mini prints with it. You got 8.5 by 5.5, 2 mini prints that went along with each order. And then I did the same thing for the deluxe variant as well. So try to give them a little extra, for, spending the extra money, make it worth your while. I'm typically not a variant cover guy in my own comic collecting life. I don't even bag my comics. I'm terrible. But I'm the pits. I have 2 boxes over here filled and overfilled with comics, that I've Kickstarters or otherwise. I'm just terrible about it. But the collectors and the Kickstarter people, they love them. And frankly, I've learned to love them I've just grown to love them because I get to work with all these different artists.
Yeah.
It's cool working on the book yourself. And, and I'd always do a cover myself because, well, I'm free. But I can afford me. But, getting to work with, Matt and Adam, Luis and Jevin, Zip, they're all great people. And, every book I want to bring in some different artists to do covers, because there's just a lot of great artists who have done fan art for us. And I want to be able to thank them by, hiring them, and because I appreciate the artwork, but, at the same time, we're all grown ass adults. We got to pay people for the things that we do. You know what I mean? So it's important.
I think that, that's really nice. It's, some people don't think about how much art costs, right?
Right.
It's easy to say, oh, it's a $4 comic and it's full of art.
Ooh, Coda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
nice.
They could look at, I can get this for $4. It's a whole book. It's only $4. Art's cheap. And it's like, well, hold on here. How long has the person been drawing? How long have they been practicing? What's the tech that they bought? What's the paint brushes, the pencils, the pen, pad? There's so much that goes into art that people don't think about, that when someone like yourself goes, I want to make sure I pay these people. Thank you. As someone who loves this community, to a creator, thank you. Because, people sometimes don't get it, that art is not cheap.
Well, I'm a graphic designer for a day job. You know what I mean? Well, creative director now, but for all those years, and I don't know how many people came to me, hey, will you do something for me? It'll look great in your portfolio. It won't take you very long. How the hell do you know how long it's going to take me? Number one, because it's just small. It's just this little small thing. Yeah, it's going to be printed on something small. Okay, great. But you're asking for a lot of detail. You know what I mean? So size is not relative. Okay. And like I said, I'm a grown ass adult. I don't need your artwork in my portfolio. You know what I mean? I got a job and I can get another one. You know what I'm saying? I don't need. So if that's the attitude I take with, not to be a dick about it, you know what I mean? But we're here to get paid and get fed and, in my day job. So why, for these people I'm working with, why would I not treat them with the same respect?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, it's been a really great, it's been a good experience so far. I just want to make sure that, we get to take care of people properly. And, they deserve it.
No, 100%. Like you're right on point.
Look,
Yeah.
real quick. Look, here's the deal. This is indie comics, okay? This is not like this is, you can call it small press, you can call it true indie. I don't care what it is. It's not like we're Image and Boom and stuff like that. This is, this is the level we're playing at here. I do not feel like this is a competition. In fact, the better you do, the better we all do, and and treat people with respect, man, because you know what, your word is your bond. And just look, and it's easy to be negative. It's easy to go there. It takes some days. It takes a little bit, more strength to not retweet, not tweet back at some jerkwad, and be like, no, just that's not what we're here to do. I don't want to major in the minors, man. I want to make my comic book. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's yeah, no. So just enough of the BS, and let's just make comics. And if you got BS, dude, take it somewhere walking, because I don't want to hear it. I want to just make comics with people that I care about, that I enjoy, that enjoy the relationships that I've made in this industry, whether it's over years back or over Instagram during the pandemic, or the conventions that I go to and meet other people. And I get to see my Instagram friends there. I'm going to Baltimore Comic-Con in a couple of weeks. Are you going to be there?
I am not,
yeah.
But
okay.
Anytime I can hear about people going, I'm like, perfect, do it.
Yeah.
See, connect,
yeah.
do it all.
Yeah, I'm gonna. There are about 15 people from Instagram that I know are going to be going to the show, and we're going to have a big dinner on the Friday night. And just have some fun with each other, because we all know each other. And it's going to get to raise a glass and share a burger or do whatever it is. You know what I mean? It'll just be a good time. Yeah. So, look, man, you only got one spin around this shit. You know what I mean? Make the most of it and have some fun with it too. So. Yeah, I mean, I love comics. I know a lot of people, a lot of people get the, stereotype that we're all a bunch of antisocial people, just like,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no,
yeah.
It doesn't, no, we're people who are excited to meet each other and get to know each other and work with each other. And I think that makes it fun.
Oh, absolutely. Like one thing I've learned, and I learned it very quickly. There's a couple sayings that I could just throw out, but basically, the indie community, and I love that the way you worded it, the true indie, not Image, which is indie, which is just a giant company that lets people do what they want, right? Real indie, which is just creators saying, hey, here's my idea, give me money, I'll make it and get you your books. That community of creators is so global, so fast, that it's insane. Like when I started this, right, my goal being Canadian was I want to support Canadian indie creators.
Sure.
Ton of them out there. I've met a bunch of them in my local area. But literally the first interview was like, oh yeah, so like I'm the writer, but my artist is actually from the States, in Chicago or in Brazil. Or I've met artists who are like, oh, I'm based in Scarborough, Ontario, but the writers from Germany, or another. It's just like this community is so global, and everyone's just like, yeah, let's help each other out. And I think my favorite saying that's come from it is basically like, we're all helping each other out with the same $20 bill. Oh, I'll give you $20. You'll give the next guy 20, the same $20 bill, and we'll all pay for each other's projects that way. And it's just like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of my favorite things about the Kickstarter last time was going through and seeing all the names I knew. And my even more favorite thing was going through the thing and seeing all the names I did not know. That was, to me, that's exciting, because you're growing, it shows growth. And, yes, that $20 bill does go flying around quite a bit. But to push past your comfort people and and reach a bigger audience, that's the goal. I mean, for sure, because I want to revel in all of our stuff. I want to celebrate that. But your book, my book, whoever's, I mean I've backed some books that because I just got a whim, let's just back it, and because you saw the Kickstarter really having a hard time just getting over the hump. And so it's like, yeah, buy a digital for $5 real quick, and do that sort of thing. And they're fun reads, I mean, the cool thing about indie is it varies in skill level.
God,
it varies in, I mean, you see some stuff and you're like, oh my God, that's pro. It should be on a shelf in every store. You see some other ones like, oh, the lettering's so bad it took me out of the book immediately. I mean, but when, and I'm not dogging on anyone, that's not the goal, but you know what I'm saying? But, the nice part is oftentimes people will say, hey, did you read the book? What did you think? I'm like, okay, I mean, I will tell you what I think, in a constructive manner, you know what I mean? But, if they're asking, and give me a critique. Yeah, I'll do it. But, and then even then be kind. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, like, one of the things, like I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. Instagram's home base, right? And I'm on Twitter too. And I have a Bigfoot Knows Karate group on Facebook. And they're really cool. It's mostly, people I know in real life and, some other folks, but, it's, that's where we go hang out there. But I don't delve much into the rest of the Facebook groups because I find that people are really either they're ignoring everyone or they're really bitter. And I see them just attack people on there. And I'm sure it happens on Twitter too, maybe Instagram. I never see it on Instagram. I'm not involved in the muck on Twitter, but it's so prevalent in those Facebook groups that it's just like, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. They tear each other up, and I feel bad for the kid who's trying, and everybody's just taking the piss out of them. And it's like, why does it have to be that way? Why can't you say what you want to say and not make the kid feel like, he needs to reconsider, ever picking up a pencil? It's not fair. It's not fair. I had nobody to help me when I first got doing this when I was 30, when there was not really a big indie community that I had found yet in Austin. And so I had to, once I started doing conventions and stuff like that, then you start meeting people and then they take you under their wing. And, there was a cat who was a writer at Marvel who spent some time with me,
cool.
And, stuff like that. And said to me, your book's never going to make it, dude. He has a condom on his head. But, and he was right, in his way, but those who read it loved it. And you know what I'm saying? It's, you take it where you can get it, and listen to everyone, keep your ears open, sometimes your mouth shut, and just listen, and be kind to those who are listening to you. So.
Oh, agreed. You know what? The be kind to those who are listening to you. I think that's very true. Especially when it comes to building people up and making them better.
Sure.
We've kind of wandered off, so I did want to ask about your comic again.
Yeah, sure.
So you mentioned earlier it's set to be a 5-issue arc. Issue 1 started very small and then grew. What can you, again, avoid spoilers, please no.
Sure, of course. Oh, I will.
But what can you tell us about sort of what to expect from issue 2, and what sort of themes are you trying to explore with the 5 issues?
All right, so we pick right back up where we left off from issue 1, almost, basically, but it really does continue out. And, what I said before about, the Bigfoot psyche, what would that be like if you were all alone? And how would that affect you? Well, we go from that to how would it affect you if you've always been alone and now you're around a population who are all your enemy. What's better? And Bigfoot is in he's in a world of shit right now. He's a fish out of water, surrounded by enemies and with different agendas. And so he's got to, he meets, people who are fully against him. He meets some people who are, behind him, but this is a book that is just packed with cryptid and kaiju. And, we had Kung Fu Thulu in the first issue. Yep. Love that character. Casey, great name, buddy. We came up with that character a few years ago. I mean, he's OG, dude. He's killer. So, so it's great to get him in print and get people seeing him because people really responded to it. In this issue, we have other kaiju. We have Thermonucleodon, who is this kaiju that has missiles growing out of his body. And there is Chupacabra with a shotgun. And, it's pretty self-explanatory. And other characters as well. So we get to really play with all of those. And, and Bigfoot finds a buddy along the way. So it's, somebody who's got his back. So for probably the first time in his life, there's somebody who's actually got him.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he's a valuable key to a bigger story. And I think that fish out of water, that, there's a lot of introspective, thought and philosophy in the first issue. Bigfoot is, he doesn't speak, but he's very cerebral. And so we hear his thoughts through the narration of the book. And I was a little hesitant at first I didn't want him to talk, so narration had to be the way to do it. I know some people like narration, some people don't. Like I said, I'm a Sin City guy, so I love narration in that way. But but he's a Bigfoot, so keep the verbiage brief. Don't have the a column of text while Marv is walking through the shadows. You know what I mean? You've got to keep it succinct and keep the story moving. One of my big things is trying to draw a story without ever needing a bubble. To show that, be able to tell the story without ever needing a bubble. If you can do that, you've done your job as an artist. Now, we need the bubbles because, we need to read. I've only read one comic. I read 2 comics in my life that it didn't have, but maybe one caption. And it was like a Sin City story. And there was a Batman story back in the day that I think Wordburglar, where so I've only read a couple of those, but that wasn't what I was trying to go for. But keep it succinct and keep the action moving. This issue, if you read the first page of the first issue and you read the first page of the second issue, you'd have to wonder if you were reading the same comic. You know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah. So keep them on their toes. That's what I say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When it comes to the, and again, because I don't want to get into spoiler territory, maybe you cannot answer this.
Sure.
When it came to writing the story, going for the differences that you're going for functionally, what were some of the challenges between issue 1 and issue 2 that, because of what you're expanding the story into and how you need to change the characters for that, that popped up?
Well, exposition. We needed to lay some down this issue. Everything was motion and action and questions in the first issue. So in the second issue, we get to lay down, it's like laying, we get to lay down the story now and, introduce the characters. There's a mysterious character at the end of the first issue that we get to start learning about him and who all the people that are around him. And, so we're learning about that. And we're learning about where Bigfoot fits into this whole situation too. What's their plan? What are they doing? Like I said, didn't want to do the typical, the typical story, the Bigfoot gets hurt. The master finds him, he teaches him martial arts. The master dies and now he's out for revenge, No, we're not doing that comic. You know what I mean? So, there's a hero's journey in all of this, but you gotta also, this is a character that's lived a long time. Bigfoot don't just grow on trees. He's lived a long time. So we're gonna peel back that onion. We're gonna peel back those layers, and we're gonna get you where you need to be, basically.
I love it.
And I didn't tell you a damn thing.
No,
I think I just said it was a politician's answer. So cool.
I appreciate that so much because it's hard to get to talk to someone, especially at length like I do, without spoilers, and you've done so well at that. Then you know what?
Poker face.
Oh, you're a fan. So. I wouldn't want to play you. You know what? I think we've kind of covered all the core stuff. So as a recap, the book comes out, or the Kickstarter comes out October 12th, 7 p.m. Central Time.
Correct.
At which time you're doing a Instagram Live with some of the other creators to be able to, once again, ideally, get the book funded within the first 15, 20 minutes, which would be amazing.
I'll be happy if it funds. Let's just, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. And, I haven't even thought about, I don't even think about stretch goals until we get to that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even touch it yet because You know what I'm saying? Because
100%.
yeah, you don't want to jinx it, man. I'm a baseball fan. We don't like jinxes. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. No, you know what? I think it's a perfect mentality to keep to it.
yeah,
In that case, because we've kind of, like I said, we've kind of covered everything.
yeah,
I guess I'll ask you my last two questions then, Dan. So
sure.
currently, what is it that you're reading?
Yeah, I got a few things that I'm checking out right now. So Frankenstein the Unconquered. I just got this not long ago from Wells.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's been on your show or something like that recently because he's got a campaign going right now.
Yeah.
So I did just receive this not long ago, so I'm checking that out. Fatal Charades by Canadian publisher Tardigrade Press. Oh, I've got it backwards. By Tardigrade Press. They're out of Toronto, I believe. And Chad Leduc does this book, and yeah, they're great. They also do a book, Sasquatch Klondike, Sasquatch Vikings, and so that's how we got to know each other, is because of the Bigfoot of it all. And yeah, he's a great guy. He's a real great guy. And then I got this not long ago, Radio Spaceman, Mike Mignola's new project. He did 2 issues of it. I read both of them. It was pretty good. You know, if I had to say other things that I would recommend to people, Something's Killing the Children is really good. I enjoyed the first trade of that. I got the second one around here somewhere to check out.
I know that feeling.
This is something that was cool too. Magic Powder by Jeff Schiller. This is really cool here. So that's that book right there. Absolutely really cool stuff. And another book that's worthwhile is the guy who I'm launching with right now, Christopher Michael. He's got his book Crit, and Crit came out. That's the shiny cover for that one. Yeah, well, that's the Adam who did my cover. Who's done the covers for my books and is doing the art, the interiors on our side story. Adam did the cover for Crit. So yeah, great stuff. Chris just does a great book. I mean, it's based on Dungeons and Dragons. Like they play a game. They play a game in real life, and then they turn that into a comic book. It's a homebrewed program that they come up with, like a homebrewed campaign that's superhero based. So I love the innovation of indie comics, man. All the imagination of what it takes to put this together. And there's sometimes there's just some really original stuff out there, and it's amazing when you find it. That's what I love about indie comics, frankly, is not to knock Batman or Spider-Man or any of that stuff, but they're 80-year-old characters at this point. You know what I mean? They've died, they've been reborn, they've had their back broken, their girlfriend came back from the dead. It's like all this stuff is going on. I mean, there's been 19 Robins, and I love Batman, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have my Adam West right there, but give me something new. Yes. Give me something fresh. Give me something exciting. You've got some great books on your wall back there that I've been staring at since we've been talking. That Dark Knight Returns is just one of my favorite covers of all time. And I can go back and reread that book at any given time. That's the thing about this comic is it's not replete with pop culture. All the other books that I did, they were all like, quote from, Ghostbusters here and and a thing there, and Masters was just replete with it because it was a sci-fi space parody that where they had pop culture's adventures throughout the galaxy. But it was fun when it's timely. But then you go back and read that book now, and like some kid's gonna read and go, "What's a Gundam style?" They're not gonna know what to talk about. So for this comic, there is no pop culture references. There are no Easter eggs. 30 years from now, I want you to pick up this comic and go, "Yeah, this holds up." This holds up. That's like a goal for me. Mind you, now I say that, but all the subtitles on the books from 2 through 5 are all blues songs. So
that's cool.
So the second book is the chapter 2 is Born Under a Bad Sign, and then chapter 3 will be Hellhounds on My Trail, and there'll be all sorts of stuff like that. I'm a big blues fan, so nice. So there is that one little thing in there, but beyond that, it's just that's not what the story is. You know what I mean? So yeah,
that's super cool. You've kind of answered the next question, which is normally what do you want your fans to know. So if you have more you want to say, go for it. But I think that was beautiful.
Well, thanks. I mean, what do I want my fans to know? I mean, I don't know if I have fans, but those who read the comic, thank you. That's what I want to say is thank you. I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, because I'm used to doing comics that people, I mean, comedy comics are not always the easiest sell, and when you got a rubber on his head, that doesn't make it any easier. And I'm used to people rolling their eyes at the stuff I do, and to do a book like Bigfoot Knows Karate, and people have just gravitated to it, and they've taken the time to draw it or share their retweet or comment or spend their money on.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that just hits you right there. And I just want everybody to know that it's that I don't take it for granted, y'all's contribution to this project. In fact, for very much so, you guys feed why we do this, because yes, I would probably be drawing if I didn't have an audience, sure. But what's the point of spending all this time making a comic book if nobody gets to read it? And the fact that people read it has been incredible. And, I mean, whether it's physical copies, people I meet at the conventions, people who download it on or read it on Global Comics, I mean, we've had like 4,000 people view it on Global Comics. That's amazing. It's so, I'm just grateful. I'm humbled, and thank you for backing the comic. Thank you for, supporting us. I mean, we got like 109 notifications already on the campaign, so we're, hopefully we do something right here.
Awesome. Well, I love it, Dan. That is something so nice to hear and beautiful. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show with me tonight.
Thanks for giving me the time to talk and giving, and for the invitation. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we get to do this again sometime.
You know what? When the next one comes out, let me know. Happy to have you.
Absolutely.
And for the folks out there in YouTube land, absolutely. Links down below. Check out the campaign. The link will be available. You can hit the notify me button, or if you're watching this after October 12th, you can just go right to the campaign. Check out social media links, all the fun stuff, and support the book. And we'll see you next time.
Golden age to present, digest to oversize. Never miss new comic day. Yeah, no surprise. So where's my no prize? Check the letter columns. Can't find issue 2? Yeah. Collector problems, cliffhangers, mysteries, you need answers. When did Batman become Green Lantern? I get it, true believer, not lying. Always up for an awesome summer crossover tie-in.